There is one skill that silently determines who rises and who remains stuck. It's not talent. It's not connections. It's not even intelligence. The difference between those who break barriers and those who make excuses is discipline. If you master this skill, there is no limit to your potential. But if you ignore it, you will stay exactly where you are. This message is your wake-up call. Watch it to the end, because what you're about to hear could unlock a version of you that even you haven't met yet. The average person wants growth without discomfort. They pray for success but reject structure. They desire greatness but despise repetition. And that's the problem. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you could be. Without it, nothing in your life will change. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's getting up when your mind says later. It's choosing vision over emotion. It's turning pain into fuel. Every great achiever you admire, whether in history or in your life, became who they are because they did things consistently that others only did occasionally. They mastered themselves before they mastered anything else. Excellence isn't an event, it's a pattern. A disciplined person doesn't wait for opportunity, they prepare daily so when opportunity comes, they're ready. And guess what? Opportunities don't respond to intentions, they respond to preparation. If you want to leave average behind, you must stop negotiating with your comfort zone. Every time you delay what needs to be done, you're voting to stay the same. Discipline is hard, yes, but regret is harder. The truth is, you don't need more inspiration, you need more structure. You need routines that protect your vision, habits that serve your future, and systems that push you forward even when motivation disappears. So ask yourself today, are you living according to feelings or according to purpose? Discipline is the master key to transformation. Without it, potential remains unrealized. Every human being is born with potential, but not everyone fulfills it. Why? Because potential is never enough. The seed of greatness exists in all of us, but a seed without water, soil, sunlight, and care will never grow into a tree. Discipline is the water. Discipline is the care. It is the structure that gives your potential permission to become real. Most people live in cycles of frustration not because they lack talent, but because they lack structure. They have dreams, they speak affirmations, they write goals in journals, but nothing changes. Why? Because dreams without discipline are hallucinations. The bridge between vision and manifestation is daily commitment to small, often invisible steps. And that's where most people fall short. They want the results, but they avoid the responsibility. Discipline isn't flashy, it's quiet, it's unglamorous. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's staying consistent when applause fades. It's showing up again after failure, after boredom, after doubt. And that is exactly what makes it powerful. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of choices made every single day, often when no one is looking. You can't pray your way into transformation while ignoring the call to discipline. Even divine purpose requires personal responsibility. Discipline is the evidence that you respect your calling enough to work for it. It's how you protect the gift inside of you. Because without discipline, gifts are mismanaged. Time is wasted, energy is scattered, and life becomes a string of regrets disguised as excuses. The truth is, many people aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. They're stuck because they won't do it long enough to see results. They quit too soon, they drift too easily, and they convince themselves that consistency is optional. But nothing great is built without consistency. Nothing meaningful is sustained without discipline. Success doesn't respond to potential, it responds to process. And process is built one disciplined day at a time. You want to change your life? Don't look for a miracle. Look at your habits. Don't wait for motivation. Create a routine. Don't blame your past. Focus on your pattern. Discipline is what makes the difference between a life of survival and a life of significance. It's the power to become who you were always meant to be. Potential is what's possible. Discipline is what makes it actual. And until you master that truth, you will remain stuck in a cycle of almost, nearly, and not yet. Discipline is the master key. And without the key, the door stays shut. Your success is hidden in your daily routine, not your dreams or intentions. This is one of the hardest truths for people to accept because we've been conditioned to believe that big changes require big moments, some dramatic shift, some grand event that turns everything around in an instant. But that's not how real success works. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't come from random bursts of motivation or emotional highs. It's built quietly, slowly, and deliberately, one small action at a time. And those small actions form your daily routine. What you do repeatedly is what shapes you permanently. A person doesn't suddenly become excellent. They become excellent because their routine trains them to be. It's in the small, unseen decisions, what time you wake up, how you spend your morning, whether you commit to your responsibilities or escape them, how often you choose growth over comfort. These tiny choices compound. They form patterns, and those patterns form your character. You can't talk your way into a better life. You have to train your way there, and training happens every single day. People dream of success, but they continue to live with routines that lead them nowhere. They want confidence, but start their day in chaos. They want clarity, but fill their minds with noise. They want transformation, but hold on to habits that keep them the same. The truth is, your life today is the sum total of your routines. And if your routines don't reflect your goals, then your goals are just wishes. Discipline is the architect of destiny. And that architecture is built brick by brick in the everyday, not the someday. Many people overestimate what they can accomplish in one big push and underestimate what they can do through small, consistent actions. That's because consistency isn't exciting, it's often boring, it doesn't impress people. But that's exactly why it works. The world is full of people chasing excitement. Few are willing to be faithful to the process. Your routine is where the real battle is won. That's where your mindset is shaped, your vision is sharpened, and your strength is developed. Waiting for the right moment is a trap. The right moment is found in what you do with the one you already have. Success is not something you stumble into, it's something you create. And it begins when you take responsibility for how you spend your time, where you place your focus, and what you repeat. You don't need a new plan, you need a new pattern. And the good news is, no matter where you are right now, you can change your pattern starting today. Your life is always moving in the direction of your routine. So if you want to change your life, don't chase the outcome. Shape your days. Because that's where your success is hiding. Excellence is not a talent, it is a habit. It's not something you stumble into, it's something you choose over and over again until it becomes who you are. We often admire people who are excellent in their craft, their character, or their leadership, but what we don't see is the hidden process that shaped them. Excellence is rarely the result of raw ability. It is the reward for relentless attention to detail, unwavering standards, and the refusal to settle for average. It's doing what others overlook. It's refining what others rush. It's finishing what others abandon. Excellence is a lifestyle, not an event. Most people are not average because they lack the ability to be great. They are average because they've grown comfortable with being good enough. That phrase, good enough, is the enemy of greatness. It's the mindset that kills progress. It's what convinces you to stop trying harder, stop improving, stop questioning whether your current level is your final level. But if you want to grow, if you want to live a life that commands respect and leaves impact, you have to raise your standards. You have to get uncomfortable with average. You must become allergic to mediocrity. Excellence doesn't demand perfection, it demands intention. It means doing things deliberately, with purpose and with care, whether it's how you speak, how you dress, how you show up for others, how you complete your work. Excellence is expressed in how seriously you take the small things, because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you cut corners in private, it will eventually show in public. Excellence is integrity in motion. It's being the same person behind closed doors as you are when the lights are on. When you live with a spirit of excellence, doors open, not just because of what you know, but because of who you are. People recognize it, they trust it. Because excellence is rare, and in a world that celebrates shortcuts and superficial results, excellence becomes a silent magnet. It speaks for you even when you're not speaking. It recommends you without a word. Excellence is what sustains success long after the excitement fades. But here's the truth. Excellence is costly. It requires you to do more than what is required, to go the extra mile when no one is asking, to challenge yourself when no one is watching. It means sacrificing convenience for the sake of greatness. And that's why so few people live with it, because they want easy more than they want excellent. But average is always crowded. If you want to stand out, if you want to rise, you must choose a higher standard. You don't wake up excellent. You wake up with a choice. And if you make the right one long enough, excellence becomes second nature. It becomes who you are. And once that happens, staying average is no longer an option. You can't grow if you're easily distracted. Growth requires deep focus, and deep focus requires discipline. We live in a world that's designed to steal your attention. Notifications, trends, endless entertainment, the pressure to respond, to scroll, to compare. And if you're not intentional, your mind becomes fragmented. You end up busy, but not effective. Surrounded by noise, but lacking clarity. Constantly stimulated, but never satisfied. Distraction is not just a nuisance, it's a thief. It steals your time, your energy, your potential, and ultimately, your future. Every time you get pulled away from what matters, you lose momentum. And momentum is everything. Without it, progress slows down, purpose becomes blurry, you start second-guessing yourself, you give in to procrastination, you get trapped in cycles of half-finished goals and never-lived dreams. And what's worse is that many people don't even realize this is happening. They've normalized being distracted. They confuse movement with progress, noise with purpose, and busyness with growth. But if you don't control your focus, something else will. To truly grow, you need to guard your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. Where your focus goes, your life flows. If your focus is scattered, so is your future. But if you can master your attention, you can shape your destiny. That means learning to say no, not just to bad things, but even to good things that are not aligned with your vision. You must become ruthless with your time. You can't allow everyone and everything to have access to your energy. Protect your mornings. Create space to think. Limit the digital noise. Set boundaries and stick to them. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're serious about your calling. Growth doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in clarity. And clarity comes when you disconnect from distractions long enough to hear your own thoughts, evaluate your direction, and recalibrate your actions. When you remove the clutter, your priorities become obvious. And when your priorities are clear, your power is multiplied. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to stop giving your best hours to things that don't move your life forward. People admire those who have grown, but they forget the sacrifices that growth demands. One of the biggest is the sacrifice of distraction. It's not easy to unplug, to be still, to do the deep work when everyone else is chasing shallow results. But that's exactly what sets you apart. Anyone can be busy. Few are focused. Anyone can chase everything. Few choose to master one thing. If you want real growth, you must train your focus like a muscle. Stay committed when it's boring. Stay locked in when it's hard. Stay faithful when no one is watching, because the person who wins is not the one who starts fast. It's the one who stays focused long enough to finish. Don't just wish for growth. Guard your focus and earn it. Success is not a product of comfort. It is the fruit of discipline. Discipline is the silent force behind every great achievement. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't seek attention, but it works. Day in and day out, when motivation fades, when emotions shift, and when results are still unseen. Discipline is what keeps you going when inspiration disappears. It's what pushes you to do the right thing, even when the wrong thing feels easier. Without discipline, talent wastes away. Potential dies unused. Dreams. Most people fail, not because they lack the vision, but because they lack the consistency to pursue it. Vision gives you the destination, but discipline builds the road. You cannot build anything lasting if you only show up when you feel like it. Feelings are fleeting. Discipline is firm. It's a commitment to excellence, even on ordinary days. And that's the difference between average and extraordinary. Consistency in the small things. You don't become excellent by accident. You become excellent by showing up every single day, even when no one is clapping. Discipline teaches you that progress is more important than perfection. It's about moving forward, inch by inch, refusing to quit. It forces you to rise early when you'd rather sleep, to say no to distractions when your body craves comfort, to practice again and again and again, even when it seems like nothing is changing. But over time, everything changes, because discipline compounds. The small actions you repeat today build the strong character you need tomorrow. Growth happens slowly, then suddenly, but only for those who stay the course. You'll never rise above your level of discipline. If you want more from life, you must demand more from yourself. That means creating habits that support your goals, not just wishing for better outcomes. You cannot outpray, outdream, or outhope undisciplined behavior. Your destiny responds to your discipline. Do you want financial freedom? Then discipline your spending. Do you want a sharper mind? Then discipline what you feed it. Do you want stronger relationships? Then discipline how you communicate. Everything worthwhile is tied to how well you manage yourself. The world respects the disciplined because discipline creates reliability, and reliability builds trust. When you are disciplined, people can count on you. Opportunities open because you've proven you're not just interested, you're committed. You're not just passionate, you're prepared. And preparation always wins. This is not just about success in business or career, it's about mastering yourself, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Because until you rule yourself, you cannot lead anything else. Discipline is the key that unlocks every other door, and once you develop it, no challenge is too great, no goal is too far. So decide today, will you let your feelings guide your life, or will you let your discipline shape it? Only one leads to greatness. Excellence is not a moment, it's a mindset. It is not something you turn on when people are watching and off when they're not. Excellence is who you are when no one sees you, when there is no applause, no recognition, and no immediate reward. It is the quiet commitment to do things right, even when you could get away with doing them half-heartedly. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and speed, excellence demands depth and intention. It demands that you don't just finish a task, you finish it well. Not for approval, but because your standards are higher than the world's expectations. When you begin to prioritize excellence in everything you do, your life changes. The quality of your work shifts. People begin to notice, not because you told them, but because your work speaks volumes. Excellence leaves a trail. It builds trust. It opens doors. People are drawn to those who do things well consistently, because consistency and quality is rare. Anyone can be average. Anyone can check a box, but few are willing to go the extra mile. To redo the draft, to rehearse again, to learn what others ignore. That's what makes excellence uncommon, and that's why it's so valuable. The truth is, you will never rise above the standards you set for yourself. If you accept mediocrity in private, you will never produce greatness in public. If you cut corners when it seems like no one is watching, you've already compromised your potential. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about integrity. It's the internal decision to give your best, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's unnoticed. Because that's the only way to grow into someone who is truly prepared for success. Excellence trains your mind to resist laziness. It strengthens your work ethic. It humbles your ego because it forces you to admit there is always room to improve. And this humility is a key ingredient in lasting success. Those who think they've arrived stop learning. But those committed to excellence are always refining, always evolving, always asking, how can I make this better? That mindset separates leaders from followers, pioneers from imitators, the great from the good. What you repeatedly do becomes your identity. If you always do just enough to get by, you train yourself to settle. But if you consistently aim for excellence, even in small things, you build a foundation of greatness that eventually impacts everything you touch. Excellence is magnetic. It attracts opportunity, trust, respect, and influence. People may not always understand your standard, but they will feel the impact of it. So ask yourself, are you doing just what's required, or are you doing what reflects who you want to become? Because excellence isn't about tasks, it's about identity. You either choose to rise above average or you settle into the crowd. One leads to greatness, the other guarantees regret. Choose excellence, not once but daily, and watch how your life transforms. Growth and success are not accidental. They are the result of consistent action over time. Consistency is the invisible thread that weaves ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. Many people have big dreams and ambitious goals, but without consistency, those dreams remain just that, dreams. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's what separates the hopeful from the successful. The truth is, talent alone won't get you far if it's not paired with steady, persistent effort. Consistency builds trust, not only with others, but also with yourself. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you prove to yourself that you are reliable and capable. This self-trust is essential for building confidence and resilience. It helps you push through setbacks and stay motivated when progress seems slow. Without consistency, motivation comes and goes like a wave, and you get pulled under by every obstacle. But with consistency, you become a force that the tide can't stop. Many people confuse bursts of intense effort with real progress. They work hard for a day or a week, then give up because they don't see immediate results. But growth rarely happens overnight. It's the small, consistent actions done every day, no matter how small, that compound into remarkable transformations. Think of consistency as planting seeds. You water them regularly, even if you don't see immediate growth. Over time, those seeds become strong trees that bear fruit. The same principle applies to your skills, habits, and mindset. Being consistent requires discipline. and a clear sense of purpose. You have to know why you started and keep that reason front and center when the initial excitement fades. It's easy to show up when you feel energized and inspired, but the real test is showing up when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, distracted, or doubting yourself. That's when consistency becomes a habit, and habits create identity. When you consistently act in alignment with your goals, you become the person who achieves those goals. Consistency also means being patient and forgiving yourself when you stumble. No one is perfect, and setbacks are part of the journey. The key is to not let one missed day or one mistake turn into giving up entirely. Get back on track quickly. Remember that success is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Every time you recommit, you strengthen your ability to stay consistent in the future. Ultimately, consistency creates momentum. Momentum makes your journey easier because once you build it, your actions require less effort and produce greater results. Momentum transforms discipline from a struggle into a rhythm. When you move consistently, you gain clarity, confidence, and a sense of control over your life. You no longer wait for the perfect moment or the right mood. You create your own momentum and let it carry you forward. So if you want to grow, to excel, and to unlock your true potential, start with consistency. Make the decision to show up every day, do the work, and trust the process. Because the person who masters consistency masters success. And there is no shortcut around it. Discipline is not punishment, it is alignment. It's your way of telling the world and yourself that you are not here to be average. You're here to build, to grow, to lead, to transform. And the only way you get there is through mastering the one skill that unlocks every other skill. Master discipline or stay average forever. The choice is yours.